Hello game fans and welcome to another edition of Greenlight Highlights from us at the Steam Chamber. Now we've got another 6 games as usual for you guys, and the first of the Greenlight games this week is Second Chance Heroes. Now Second Chance Heroes is a cooperative arcade action game that takes place in a world overrun by various apocalyptic disasters. Now, as a result of our modern lifestyles, modern man is unable to cope with this disaster and instead looks to the past for help and decides to put together a crack team of cloned heroes from Earth's histories. And this will feature tons of playable characters over time. However, only 4 have been announced so far, one of which is Joan of Arc, another is Elizabeth I, another is Abraham the Lincoln, and finally Napoleon Bonaparte. Now, they've announced they're going to be revealing details of 8 more soon, but there will be many more as you can collect them and you can switch to each of the different characters on the fly throughout the game, much in the same vein as the Lego games. And each character will have a slightly different playstyle and will have different attacks. Now, the game features up to 4-player co-op and very varied worlds and environments. It looks like it could be quite a fun little co-op game, probably sort of fairly hectic in the sort of a similar vein to the Showdown effect. However, it's as far as I know, it's more of a co-op game rather than it is a PvP, and they haven't mentioned PvP yet as far as I know. However, it definitely looks as though it's the sort of game that could feature at some point in the future. Right, our second game this week is Ethan Meteor Hunter. Now, this is a puzzle platformer from Seven Studios, and it sees you as a mouse who gains telekinetic powers after being affected by meteorites in some sort of unknown disaster or event. The game requires you to navigate through various levels in the quickest time whilst also collecting pieces of meteorites throughout the levels, all whilst avoiding various traps along the route, as well as solving the usual puzzles that you tend to find in these puzzle platformers. It's quite a traditional platformer in terms of the platforming elements involved, and as far as I'm aware, there are over 50 levels available to play through, and there is a demo available at the moment, so do look for the link for that below. Overall, it's quite a nice looking little game. There's not a lot going on, but I know there's a hell of a lot of games in this genre at the moment. It is a very oversaturated market in terms of the indie environment. However, this is quite a nice little standout game, I think. Now, this one really did catch our eye. This one is of Guards and Thieves, and it's quite an interesting game, which is very much like the heist game Monaco. But in an interesting twist, this sees you and your friends playing as both the thieves like Monaco and also as the guards. Now, it supports up to 16 players, so there's some fairly interestingly large games going on there, and as a result of half the players being thieves and half being guards, there's some interesting asymmetrical play going on there as well. So you can expect the guards to be much more high powered than the thieves, and likewise you can expect the thieves to be far faster and also a lot more stealthy than the guards. Now, as far as I'm aware, this game features a full cover system and full stealth, as well as several game maps and several game types in the works, with more to be announced soon. And best of all, you can actually try the beta absolutely free right now. They say that beta is about 50% of the way through, and I believe they're expecting to be released in the 3rd quarter of this year, so not very long now. Bit of a different game this time. This is Full Bore, which is a very quirky block puzzler with an exploratory platformer style twist. Now, we're always keen to feature games which mix up the genres quite a bit, as it keeps things a little bit more interesting and it helps fight the oversaturation of the market as well, as I mentioned earlier is the case with puzzle platformers. Now, what's interesting about Full Ball though is not only the fact that it mixes up a couple of genres, but the fact that it features an open world with no linear path whatsoever. As well as that, they've also said that at least a third of the world is a secret area as well, made up of various secret areas. So there's some really interesting takes on the genre going on there. So if you're a fan of block puzzlers, then of course this is going to be right up your alley. But even if you're not traditionally a fan of those sort of games, this is definitely one of those sort of games that is worth having a look anyway, because it really does transcend a lot of what it's trying to do. Next up, we've got something a bit more tactical. This is Lost Sector Online, which is a tactical squad-based, free-to-play, turn-based strategy game, which is very much in the vein of games such as XCOM. The game features both co-op and PvP modes, hence the online part. Currently, it's in open alpha, which you can download below. The game features a full co-op story campaign, as well as the potential for massive clan battles in which your clan fights for large areas of the map. Also, quite interestingly, they have decided to go with their own proprietary engine with this game rather than using someone else's. So it might be a case of there could be a few more bugs than you might have otherwise seen if they'd gone for someone else's engine. However, it is looking very good. The last game this week has been getting quite a bit of attention on Greenlight, at least amongst the community itself. This is Craft the World. Now, some might immediately dismiss this as something along the lines of a Terraria ripoff. However, it isn't. It's far more than that. This, like Terraria and Minecraft before it, has been inspired somewhat by Dwarf Fortress. And the game features elements from a variety of genres as well, rather than just Dwarf Fortress. It also features various elements of gameplay from various God Sims, some RTS games, various crafting games, as well as a bit of tower defense as well, all thrown into some sandbox play. Now, it's got a nice look about it. It does look a little bit like games such as Gem Miner and such that you'll find on phones when it comes to aesthetics, but this game does look as though it has a lot of depth. Right, that's all we've got for you this week. We tried something a little bit new this week, trying to keep things a little bit more brief, not quite as in depth as we usually would. Please do let us know if you prefer it this way or if you'd rather us go back to the old way. As always, I've been your host, Lord Elemental. Thank you for watching, and please do like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you.